As many of you know, the heat can really wreak havoc on your Polaroids during their development phase, giving you all sorts of weird, warm color shifts. You could always bring a Polaroid lunchbox to keep things cool, but let's get serious.
This sucks.
If only Polaroid film would just work. Well, a recent suggestion from one of you precious little eggies by the name of Wyatt Reading might be exactly what we need. What if we use a blue filter to combat the warmer color shifts of developing Polaroids in the heat? Does it work? Sorta, I guess, in pretty specific scenarios.
Request it, I'll do it when I can get to it.
For the first test, it was a pretty hot one. It was 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius for my friends over the pond. I left one photo to develop on the hood of my car and one in the Polaroid lunchbox. Both shots were of this bar right here, which is a pretty cool place. The blue filter definitely helped combat the color shifts on the shot I left outdoors on the hood of my car. But we're also seeing some blue tones in the shadows. I'm not super in love with that, but I suppose it's better than the wild warm tones we would have seen without it. The shot in the lunchbox was completely blue on the other hand, which makes sense. In this experiment, the blue filter is meant to combat the heat. You remove the heat and it's just a blue filter. I actually don't know why I bothered with that test, but hey, now we know. For science.
Yes, science!
What would have been really smart was shooting the scene again without the blue filter so you could see the effects of the heat on the shot.
But I didn't.
You'll have to settle for this as your comparison, and if you're interested in seeing more, I have a whole Polaroid summer tips video that you can check out. Link is in the description and on screen now. After my first test, I shot on 2 other days. The second day was not as hot, only 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 29.4 degrees Celsius, but slightly above the recommended developing temperature of 82 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 30. It's a temperature. 28. It's 28 degrees Fahrenheit.
Celsius!
I'll figure that out one day. These shots came out fine, but they definitely have a blue tint to them, shocker. Depending on your taste, it might be acceptable, or it might be a little too much. I can't really define that one for you though. To me, they almost look a little bit more like Instax photos though, which is kind of interesting. The third day I tested this was a little bit hotter at 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 32.2 degrees Celsius with similar results to the previous session. Things are definitely a bit blue. These two went pretty magenta, and I'm assuming that's the result of the warmer shifts mixing with the blue filter. But the big thing in my opinion though, the shots are not wildly overexposed and the warm shifts are way less apparent than they would have been. I had 2 shots left over in another Polaroid camera, and honestly I don't know how long that film was sitting in there, but I figured hey, why not, let's test it some more, and these came out like drinking hot dog water. It was I don't want to talk about these, they're really ugly, really bad. I'm gonna chalk these 2 shots up to being expired film. Overall, I gotta say the blue filter is viable when things get really hot. I'm talking like 95 degrees and above, which is 35 degrees Celsius. Good thing it's September and it's not gonna be that hot again until next year, so yeah, keeping up with the tradition of my impeccable timing on this channel. But if you're gonna use the blue filter to combat the heat, I would definitely keep in mind that your midtones and shadows are gonna get kind of blue. And honestly, if it's below like 90 degrees Fahrenheit, this probably isn't even worth doing because things just get a little too blue for my taste. Definitely don't use the Polaroid lunchbox with the filter unless of course you want a blue photo. And all this to say, if you like the warm color shifted tones, well then I guess just ignore this video. The bottom line is, do what makes you happy. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you in the next one. This video is now over. Bye.
Like and subscribe. Sweet Lou Photography. Dumb man.